Hey, Mr. Thomas, look back again with another one of the proofs that we did today in the jigsaw activity. Again, this is in case you're absent in class today and did not get to complete that activity, or in case you just need a refresher on how this proof goes. This already should be in your proof notebook. So this time we're going to prove the congruence supplements theorem. And that states that if two angles are supplementary to the same or congruent angles, then the angles are congruent. So we're going to be working with the given information. The angle C and angle D are supplementary, and the angle D and angle E are supplementary, and we have a diagram to the right as well that we can use if needed. And we are asked to prove the angle C and angle E are going to be congruent. So just like our other videos, we're going to start out with our given information. We have that angle C and angle D are going to be supplementary, and the angle D and angle E are going to be supplementary. And our reason, of course, is going to be given. The next step, we got to think about what supplementary means. If we're thinking about supplementary, if we just think about the basic definition, it's that they're going to be two angles that add up to be 180 degrees. So that's what I'm going to make my next statement. I'm going to take that angle C and D are supplementary and change that into the measure of angle C plus the measure of angle D is going to be 180. And I'm going to take the angle D and E are supplementary and change that into the fact that the measure of angle D plus the measure of angle E is going to be equal to 180 degrees. And what allows me to do that is going to be the definition of supplementary angles. So what I'm going to do next is it's going to kind of be similar to that last proof we did. If you notice, we have the measure of angle C and the measure of angle D adding to give us the same thing as if we add the measure of angle D and the measure of angle E. So since those are both adding to be the same thing, what I can do is set them equal to each other. I can do the measure of angle C plus the measure of angle D from the first part up there. Oops, that should be yellow. Sorry, let me change that real quick. And then I can take my section that was green that was equal 180, and I can set those to each other. And what lets me do that is the substitution property of equality. What makes this different than the last one where we used the transitive property, we only have one term equal to the 180 or equal to whatever we were doing. On this time, we're actually adding some different terms together. So because it's more complex, we're going to have to use the substitution property of equality rather than the transitive property of equality. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I notice that I have the measure of angle D on both sides of the equation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that and subtract it from both sides. So basically what I'm doing is, let me switch back to the pen, subtracting the measure of angle D from both sides. And the property that allows me to do that, if we think about those algebraic properties that we were just going over in class yesterday, we were able to do the subtraction property of equality. We subtracted the same thing from both sides, and we were able to get rid of it. And now you'll see that we're at a very familiar step to the last step of our right angle congruence theorem. We have the measure of angle C is equal to the measure of angle E, but we need to change this to a congruence statement. So to change from the equal sign to the congruent sign, we're going to drop those M's, and we're going to put the little squiggle over the equal sign. That's going to stand for congruent. And the thing that allows us to do that is our definition of congruent angles. All right, that wraps up this one. We have one more video if you need to check it out for the jigsaw activity, and then we'll be done with these three proofs.